10:05, and I call this public hearing to order. In accordance with the open government law, notices of this hearing were sent to all main media outlets, all senators and stakeholders 5 days in advance on July 7, 2015, and the second notice was sent on July 10th, 2015. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize my colleagues that are here and thank them for being here at this very important confirmation hearing. Speaker Wampet to my far right, thank you, Madam Speaker. Senator Underwood, who's here. Senator Tony Atta, the Minority Leader. Senator James Espaldon, as well as Senator Tommy Morrison. Thank you for being present for this hearing. And on the agenda, originally there were 2 items. One, of course, is the appointment of Matthew L.G. Sablan to serve as Director of the Department of Agriculture. And the other appointment is Mr. William Detry to serve as a member of EPA's Board of Directors. And I received an email from Mr. Detry this morning, or I guess 12:54 a.m., saying that he's on antibiotics and under doctor's orders for bed rest. So I certainly will postpone or table his hearing and work with him to see what a date that's convenient for him, and then we can make those announcements in accordance with the public law. But I'm sure that all of you are looking forward to beginning this hearing on the governor's appointment of Mr. Sablan to agriculture. And I'd like to invite up those who signed up to testify first, and then we'll hear from the nominee as a standalone panel. I have Frank Sablan, Mr. Sablan, Mr. Mel Hennigan, and I'll just call you up in the order that you signed up, so it's first come, first serve. Michael Regis, Mayor Jesse Pelican, the Deputy at Agriculture. Okay, we'll begin with this, with the first 4 individuals, and I guess we'll, in keeping with what I said, we'll go with the first one who signed up. So, Mr. Sablan, the committee recognizes you at this time.
Senators, I'm here in support of Mr. Matthew Sablan for the position of Director of Agriculture. I've known him all my life. He's my younger brother. And I can honestly tell you, you couldn't find a better person for this position. He's an honest man, hardworking, and he has that attitude of let's get things done. That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you can just stay in case someone may have a follow-up question or something. Yeah, just still be available. Mr. Hennigan?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
And buenas and happy day. Good morning, Senator Wanpat, Senator Underwood, Respicio, Senator Atta, Senator Espaldon, and Senator Morrison. This is a great day, and I'm very glad to be here. I'm on leave status. I'm actually Command Sergeant Major Mel Hennigan. I'm the Senior Enlisted Advisor for the Guam National Guard. I was nominated by Major General Polino, and now I work for another great general, and that's Brigadier General Leon Guerrero. I want to give a verbal testimony for Matthew Sablan, and I don't have anything in writing, so everything will come from the heart. Matthew Sablan came into the Guam National Guard in 1985. That's when, and we were only birthed in 1981. So we were only 4 years old, and he was an instrumental part of growth for the Guam Guard, especially when we were still down at the Fort Juan Munya. And one of the areas, he was always in the training and operations arena. And one of the areas that I knew that he grew up in was the Regional Training Institute. And this is an area where the basic training soldiers would come in prior to the basic training to the United States, and he was a part of that, and he led a lot of our soldiers who are leaders today. I want to make a testimony that the Guam Guard is a very robust, high-paced tempo organization. We've done deployments from Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and he was part of a very long deployment, 16 months, and he did a great job on that 16 months doing the training and operations and making sure that the unit was in place. And of course, you know that we've been to the Afghanistan as a platoon, as a even in Iraq. The last deployment, the deployment to Afghanistan, I was the actual command sergeant major for the 588 soldiers. So I've been in the business of building leaders at the lowest level and getting them E5, E6. And I want to say Matt Sablan, biggest highlight when our organization was really in a pace where it was a pretty tired organization because of our deployments, and we had soldiers that deployed 4 to 5 times already. And I remember Matt took on a mission to go to Mindanao. Mindanao, of course, was a place where there was IED and a lot of small arms fires, and he was matched up with a young platoon leader who just got his commission, and he was actually the soundboard of that platoon. And I know when I was tracking that mission with there was a special forces that lost their lives because of the hazard. But I can say that by the grace of God that we picked the right leader to match up with a young lieutenant and a lieutenant that you know, I know in his mind he wants to break down doors and just want to climb the highest mountain. He was the springboard in making sure there's a balance in that platoon. And I tell you what, the common denominator of that platoon, especially when they came back from that mission, was the morale was incredibly high. The soldiers, you can tell that Matt was a part of their lives. They were physically fit. I mean, they really looked like soldiers that came out of basic training AIT. They were slender. They looked like fighting machines. And I want to say that Matt Sablan was a part of all that. And he's retired now, and he served a total of 27 years. And I felt that it was important for me to come here to highlight his military career, and I know that he brings a lot of his experience from the military to the civilian sector as a nominee for this position, and I firmly believe that he will do a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony, and of course it goes without saying, thank you, sir, for your service. Mr. Regis.
Speaker Wampat, Chairperson Senator Respicio, and distinguished members of the Guam Legislature. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Conservation Officer 3, Michael A. Regis. I am the supervisor for the Law Enforcement Section for the Department of Agriculture. And I am here today to offer my support for the nominee, Mr. Matthew L.G. Sablan, for the Director of Agriculture. I am a 30-year employee of the department. And in my entire law enforcement career, I have never appeared before this body to offer testimony in support or in opposition of any nominee for the department. However, I feel that I should make an exception in this case. I have known Mr. Sablan for a little under a year, and in this short span of time, he has impressed me with his leadership abilities, his vision for the department, and the commitment to address the manpower and operational shortages that each division currently experiences. These are all traits, I believe, of an effective leader that we badly need in the department to move our department forward. He has been, in my opinion, one of the very few cabinet-appointed acting directors who actually cares about employee issues, the modernization and the reorganization of the department to provide better service to the public, and actually cares about empowering the employees the supervisors, and the division chiefs to offer up opinions, thoughts, and concerns to help with how we run the department and how we administer programs. This is a humble man, in my opinion, who came before this body without a college degree from an institution of higher learning. However, he does bring to the table work experience as a planner, technician, all the way up to a planner 4, and in some instances, the acting chief planner for DPW. He understands the frustration of the employees, the lowest employee all the way up into the management level itself. He understands the feeling of being appreciated. He understands the feeling of being cared for and empowered. He understands that the key to the success of the department itself is the employees. And all I can say is that Mr. Sablan has served honorably in the armed forces. He's been deployed in defense of our nation and retired as a senior non-commissioned officer. He most certainly has earned my respect and admiration, and I wholeheartedly support his nomination for Director for the Department of Agriculture. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you again for your testimony. You did very well for your testimony here at the legislature. You said in the entire 30 years, this is your first time. And it's important that you point that out. So the nominees, the fact that Governor Calvo nominated this individual compelled you so much to come before this committee and this legislature, and I thank you as well. Mayor Pelican.
Buenas and half a day, Speaker Judy Wonpat, our committee chair, Senator Rory Respicio, Senator Underwood, Senator Ada, Senator Espadon, and Senator Morrison. My name is Jesse B. Pelican, Deputy Director of Guam Department of Agriculture. I'm here today to provide a written testimony on behalf of my superior, Mr. Matthew L.G. Sablan, Acting Director of Agriculture, to the position of Director. It is with great pleasure that I write this testimony knowing that Mr. Sablan has the ability to perform the roles and responsibilities to the office of the Director. Without a doubt, Mr. Sablan has displayed a genuine interest in the mission of the department and have taken on many challenges of his predecessors. As a Director, Mr. Sablan will be working closely with his staff in addressing the issues and ultimately arriving to a solution that is both accountable and transparent. Mr. Sablan is also very capable and a resourceful person in attaining the approach and, the most importantly, outcomes that will have a positive impact to the department, personnel, and programs. The knowledge and experience he has obtained while in the National Guard and retiring as a planner, engineering division with the Department of Public Works, plus to effectively perform administrative responsibilities. He can easily be recognized for his mannerism and approach in dealing with personnel issues to adapt and overcome. I am thankful for the opportunity to be part of this administration and to witness Mr. Sablan's appointment as Director of the Department of Agriculture. Thank you again in advance for this favorable consideration and having provided me this opportunity in submitting my testimony.
Thank you. Also, I'd like to ask if the Speaker or the Senators have any questions for the panel, any comments? Okay. Again, I guess we're all in agreement. Thank you all for your participation with respect to this nominee. Thank you. So I'd like to invite up the next panel, Mr. Ray Torres, Mr. Eric Palacios, Mr. Mark Uggan, Mr. Nathan Rios. Okay, we'll begin with Mr. Torres.
Half a day and good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee members.
My name is Raymond A. Torres, and I am here this morning before this august body to testify in support of the confirmation of Matthew L.G. Sablan for the directorship of the Department of Agriculture. I believe Mr. Sablan should be given the opportunity since he accepted placing his name in the hat to be director. I place my confidence in him, and I invite you all to do the same. I have known Mr. Sablan for more than 42 years, 22 years as an employee who worked directly under me in the Highway Planning, Research, and Programming section of the Highway Division, Department of Public Works from 1978 to 1999. He learned and experienced what it meant to be a public works employee, but more importantly, what it meant to be a public servant, in that every taxpayer is his employer. He learned to work with other employees of the different sections and divisions of DPW, as well as with other departments of Guam, the private sector, the federal government agencies. In many instances, Matt went beyond his normal duties in giving his own personal time to prepare government programs, budget reporting, typhoon preparations, and recovery assessments. All of this led to a well-rounded, experienced individual who is entirely capable of a directorship with our government. We were working for a better Guam, a better country, and a better world. I found Matt to be dedicated public servant with integrity, honesty, family values, and whose heart is for his island. He is compassionate and cares for all people who call and make Guam their home. The Department of Agriculture plays a very important role as it deals with the use of natural resources that must be protected and used wisely, otherwise it would cause harm for our island and to the people who make it their home. After saying that, I, as a citizen, challenge Matt not just think out of the box, but to get out of himself, of his traditional way of seeing things, and to open himself to see things beyond his ideas and party lines, to see a more global vision of what we on our small island have to offer all the peoples based on how we care for our island resources and for each other. If our resources are continually destroyed, as they have been over the years, it will impact not just our island, but our entire Pacific region and eventually the whole world. Let us begin this overwhelming task together by confirming Matt Sablan as Director of Agriculture in hopes that a new vision for the protection of our resources can be realized on first a local scale, a regional, and eventually advance to a more global scale for all peoples who work out of gratitude for the gift of the earth given to our care. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. God bless you and yours, and may God guide Matt in this task now set before him. Thank you.
Thank you also, Mr. Torres. Can we just make sure we get a copy of his written testimony? Make sure it's in the committee report. And next, I'd like to recognize Administrator Palacios.
Good morning, Honorable Chairman, Speaker, and Senators. My name is Eric Palacios, and I'm the Administrator of the Guam Environmental Protection Agency. I'm here today to offer testimony in support of Mr. Matt Sablan as the Director of Agriculture. I've only known Matt for a relatively short amount of time since we've been colleagues on the cabinet, but I can say without a doubt that Matt's commitment to really helping move our island forward in light of the many challenges that we face as a unified government, and specifically with regards to the issues that he deals with at his department and the natural resource aspect of it, that I believe the department will be in absolute capable hands with Matt at the helm, with Mayor Pelican right behind him, really leading the charge. One of the things that I really admire about Matt is he's a boots on the ground kind of guy. He really likes to understand maybe what his team is trying to do so that he can better help them to fulfill whatever mission is in front of them. The other thing is that I know that he really places a lot of trust, and rightfully so, on the opinions and the positions of his team when it comes time to make a decision. And so I think, as Mr. Regis mentioned earlier in his testimony, and the fact that there are so many of